Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Kolte Patil Developers Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Shiv Mattu of CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yes, thanks, Janice. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Q2 FY22 results conference call of Kolte Patil Developers Limited. We have with us today Yash Patil, Joint Managing Director, Rahul Talele, Group CEO, Vikram Rajput, Head Investor Relations and Corporate Finance, and Pawan Lohia, Head Finance. Before we begin, I would like to state that some of the statements in today's discussion may be forward-looking in nature and may involve certain risks and uncertainties. A detailed statement in this regard is available on the Q2 FY22 results presentation that has been sent out to you earlier. I would now like to invite Mr. Yash Patil to begin the proceedings of this call.
Thanks, Shiv. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to everyone present, and thank you for joining us today to discuss the operating and financial performance of Kolte Patil Developers Limited for the second quarter ended 30th September 2021. I would like to begin by discussing our view on the overall demand environment for the real estate sector and a broad strategic outlook. Then Rahul will share some insights into the quarter's operating performance. As you would know, Rahul has recently been elevated to the position of Group CEO at Kolte Patil. Rahul joined us in 2010 and has been instrumental in driving many of our strategic initiatives, including the company's entry into the affordable housing segment, expansion into the Mumbai redevelopment market, as well as the scale-up delivered in our flagship Life Republic Township. We look forward to his continued success and will jointly participate in the outreach to the investor community as well. We will close our opening comments with Vikram taking you through the key financial highlights for the quarter. We then look forward to taking your questions and suggestions. As the country and large parts of the world emerge stronger from the widespread impact of the COVID virus, we look forward to the situation normalizing even more, and we hope all of you, along with your family and friends, are doing well and keeping healthy. Meanwhile, we see a clear shift emerging in terms of the demand environment for the real estate in the country. The sector ecosystem has been transitioning in line with the country's move towards formalization and system-driven compliance. Low mortgage rates, stable property prices, rising affordability, as well as the robust hiring outlook for IT services and several key sectors bodes well for the structural improvement in the outlook after several years of weakness. We even see the micro-behavioral shifts such as propensity to work from home, encouraging buyer preference for large living spaces. Further, there is increased visibility for credible execution-focused players with established brands and widespread market presence. Strong balance sheets and access to liquidity is another differentiator, enabling strong players such as ourselves to gain a higher market share. This virtuous cycle has further accelerated over the recent past, with the world having to deal with the intense impact of the pandemic. At Kolte Patil, we have developed a culture of system orientation and formal process-driven mechanisms in our style of functioning over the years. Remaining focused on timelines and execution has allowed our brand to emerge stronger with the support of customers in the Pune market. We are now expanding our visibility in Mumbai and Bengaluru as well, driven by the same principles. This is seen in the growing contribution from these two cities to our overall sales value, thereby diversifying the business profile in a significant manner. We see the longer term benefits of sector consolidation on the supply side accruing to us. We have also developed a culture of recognizing value delivered by our key people, and Kolte Patil remains an organization driven by professionals. Our decade-long association with Rahul has been very fruitful, and I look forward to continuing to work closely with him as we move forward in pursuit of our corporate initiatives. All operational decisions will now be driven by him. As I envision my own role, I would like to focus on the strategic direction of the company, making sure from a long-term perspective we are able to deliver our company's vision. Also, some of the softer aspects like ESG and customer centricity. With that, now I would like to hand over the proceedings to Rahul to discuss the operating highlights and business outlook.
Thank you, Yash. Good afternoon to everyone attending this call. I look forward to a long and mutually rewarding engagement with all of you. Before I comment on the operation, let me state I am very inspired by the legacy of Kolte Patil Developers. I look forward to collaborating with Yash and take the company to a different level. We have a history of execution where the P&L performance has always been in sync with the operational performance, resulting in consistent cash flow generation and healthy returns. Myself, our executive team, and everyone at KPDL is geared up to a meaningful scale of this self-sustainable business and brand equity, which has been built over the last 3 decades and creates sustainable long-term value for our all stakeholders. Speaking about the operational highlights of the quarter, we are pleased to report that in the first half of FY22, our sales grew by 89% by value to rupees 678 crores and 60% by volume to 1.07 million square feet. During the same period, collection increased by 114% year-on-year basis to rupees 653 crore and realization expanded by 17% to rupees 6312 per square feet. This increase in realization, I would like to add, is based on 2 factors. One, the increased contribution of this from Mumbai, which expanded to 25% of overall sales during the first half. Second, with the improved demand traction and preference for quality, we have seen improved realization in our ongoing projects. Q2 FY22 saw further acceleration across key parameters with sales value up 121% year-on-year and 73% quarter-on-quarter to rupees 429 crore, and sales volume up 92% year-on-year and 68% quarter-on-quarter to 0.67 million square feet. Demand remains strong across product segments, and through the 3 geographies of Pune, Bengaluru and Mumbai, our diversification story continues to play out well, with Mumbai portfolio contribution up to 26% of total sales value. Mumbai region reported sales value of rupees 113 crore as against rupees 15.5 crore in Q2 FY21. So there is a significant improvement in Mumbai performance. On track of an uptick in traction at work and sustained momentum at Vayu. As a result, within first half itself, we have matched the last year's Mumbai sales value number of rupees 180 crore. Bengaluru also recorded sales value rupees 35 crore in Q2, taking the contribution from projects outside Pune to 35% during the quarter. Residential sector performance continues to witness an improvement on the back of India's resilient economic performance coming out of the second wave, and we now see the structural theme around the value of owning a home being reinforced. Historically, we have delivered improved performance in the second half of the financial year compared to the first half, and we expect a similar trend once again to end FY22 on a strong positive note. We have 11 priority launches lined up with sellable area of approximately 6.2 million square feet across the 3 cities with an aggregate top line potential of over rupees 5,000 crores. Further, we have comprehensive project portfolio across the 3 cities of our presence and are gearing up to leverage our improved brand salience, strong operating ecosystem and balance sheet to grow sustainably in the coming years. With that, I now hand over the proceedings of this call to Vikram to provide a financial overview.
Thank you, Rahul. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that all of you and your families are keeping safe and well. I will now briefly take you through our financial performance for the quarter ended 30th September 2021. Based on CCM reporting, in Q2, we reported revenues of rupees 304 crore, up 370.4%, and in H1, we reported revenues of 501 crore, up 144% on a year-over-year basis. EBITDA for Q2 stood at rupees 53 crore compared to a loss of rupees 10 crore in Q2 FY21 and at rupees 115 crore in H1 FY22 versus a loss of rupees 22 crore in H1 FY21. Our net profit after tax post minority expanded to rupees 18 crore compared to a loss of rupees 15 crore in Q2 FY21 and rupees 47 crore in FY22 as compared to a loss of rupees 49 crore in H1 FY21. We ensured the continuity of construction activities at a healthy pace and improved momentum in sales, registration, construction and CRM drove Q2 FY22 collections up 86% year-over-year and 34% quarter-over-quarter to rupees 374 crore. The liquidity in our business operations remains strong, resulting in further reduction of rupees 67 crores in net debt. We have reduced our net debt by 96 crore in the first half of this year. Our net debt to equity now stands at 0.23x as on September 30, 2021. Further, the operating cash flow for the quarter stood at rupees 145 crore. We now expect to report an improved performance across operational and financial parameters for the remainder of the year and end the year on a strong note. On that note, I conclude my opening remarks and would like to now ask the moderator to open the line for question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We take the first question from the line of Bajrang Bafna from Sunidhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Congratulations for a great set of numbers to SG and Rahul ji and to the entire team of Kolte Patil. Sir, just to begin with, from a strategic point of view, we are raising this question again because real estate, we believe that is a, some sort of cyclical business or even if we hear, the remarks from Mr. Parekh, Deepak Parekh, who is the most renowned veteran in the real estate industry, has recently quoted in media that in his career of last 50 years, he's seeing the best of the opportunity for this sector, and the cycle which ended in 2012-2013 has, come back with vengeance, in 2020-21. And all the parameters like lower interest rates and the hunger to own a house is at the highest level, from the ground level. This is what he has cited. So when we go, by the statements of these renowned people, we also want to hear what management talks about, these sort of things. And from a strategic perspective, you have guided that this year, you are going to end at a strong note. But in terms of some specifics, what sort of target that we are keeping ourselves for this year and maybe from a next 3 years perspective, what are the targets that the company is putting forward to us will be helpful to understand, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bajrang. I think at Kolte Patil, we also, of course, echo the beliefs of Mr. Deepak Parekh, who, as such an industry veteran, has said that finally after 6-7 years, there is an upcycle which is coming, and we are seeing this very much on ground, with the number of walk-ins and our financial and operating performance. As we are also gunning for a great year ahead, I think we are also looking forward to have our best ever sales value number this year, and looking forward in the next 3 years, like mentioned in our opening comments, we have a great growth plan. as the industry is in up cycle, and now with the new team in place with Rahul taking over, we have great plans to expand our business in the coming years. Rahul, you want to add something to that?
So we are very confident of achieving this year's numbers. In fact, there is a possibility of surpassing these numbers. For the coming years, the numbers has to be backed by the back of the curtain working, and we are already into a business development stage. We are spending most of the time, senior management spending most of the time in the BD deals, as well as we are sitting on the drawing boards so that our next phase of launches will be ready, and we'll be coming up with a very good pipeline to ride the benefit of this positivity in the market.
Got it. Rahulji, I have to be very specific on numbers. There are two numbers which have been given in this presentation. One is 6.2 million square feet, which is the launch pipeline, totaling to a cumulative value of 5,000 crores. And the another number, that is there in PPT is 10 million square feet, that will be, the company is looking through different models, going forward. So if you could slightly, guide us, in terms of these two numbers differently, that one side, the 6.2, and another side, we are talking about 10 million square feet, which is the potential pipeline. So how and by when, we try to achieve, both the numbers, that we are hinting in our PPT.
Okay. So this is a very interesting question and most very important for the next line of growth. So we have mentioned in our presentation that around 6.2 million square feet of priority launches are there with a aggregate top line of around 5,000 crores. So that will result into per square feet realization between 8,000 to 8,500 for us. So that is again a very positive. That will be again a very positive move for us. So we are pretty confident of launching this project. In this, few of the projects will get launched in this quarter, few of will get launched in next quarter, and the very few projects will get launched in the Q1 of the financial year FY23. So just to give you a little insight, so we are going to launch couple of projects at Life Republic, which is our flagship township, and we are getting a very good momentum, and there is a lot of positivity over there. So apart from that, one project at Wagholi, we are going to launch. The Pane project is certainly getting launched this financial year itself. Giga, we are planning to launch. I mean, we are reached the RERA application stage, so maybe it will get launched in next month itself or late of this month. Apart from that, regarding the Mumbai, we are in a final stage of approvals for Sukh Niwas. So that will get launched in this quarter itself, and Golden Petal will follow in the fourth quarter. In regards to your second part of the question, so regarding the 10 million square feet, yes. So what I mentioned earlier, most of the time we are working on the screening the business development deals, and we are working on how we can structure the specific deals. So there is a team internally, we have a committee, so we are spending quite some time for that. So, and we are confident that we'll achieve that target. But at this moment of time, it will be difficult or too early to comment a definitive timeline for that. But yes, we are on, certainly we are on track to achieve our growth numbers for the next 3 years.
Got it. Thank you very much, sir, and best of luck for your future growth.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Sheth from Motilal Oswal AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and firstly congrats to both Yash as well as Rahul for being promoted as joint MD and CEO respectively. My question is on launches. So I couple of names on those on the table. One is Highmont Hinjewadi, which was earlier planned, is now not there in the launch pipeline, and there's one more Life Republic phase R10 phase 2 that is not in that launch table. So have they been already launched or being pushed out, or what's, if you can provide any detail on that?
Thank you, Pritesh. So you have two questions. The first is regarding the Highmont. So during this transition phase of last 4-5 months, what we are doing, we are reassessing all the recent deals that we have closed in terms of the financial feasibility, in terms of the right product mix, in terms of where it is placed, in terms of overall portfolio. So there are multiple reassessment criteria we have placed internally, and so Highmount is one of such projects that we don't want to continue with. But regarding the other project, regarding the Universe, the part 2 launch for the Universe, we have already launched that project in the concluded quarter, the last month of concluded quarter, September, and we are seeing a good traction over there, and we are pretty confident of achieving a good numbers. Having said that, since during this renegotiation, I would like to share some positive news over here. We have renegotiated one of our biggest joint venture deals of the recent times, that is the Baner deal. So it was of 1.3 million square feet, which is getting launched in next quarter. So over there, we have earlier it was a 64% JV ratio, revenue share. So we have increased our revenue share from 66% to 69% over there. So that will give us an additional PBT of close to 35-40 odd CR. On top of that, because of the benefit of Unified in recent past, the potential of that project has also gone up from 1.3 million to 1.65 million square feet. So that will add again around 35 to 40 crores of PBT for us. So in total, because of this reassessment of deal, we are already seeing the positive outcome of that.
Okay, great. Good to know that. So this reassessment exercise is largely done now, or still we are looking at few more deals which can either cancelled or some improvement that can happen?
No, Pritesh, I think it's largely done, and only in the reassessment there was, like we mentioned, there was the DM deal of Highmount which we have dropped as a management call.
Right. And that was DM development management deal, right, if I recollect it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So going forward, I think we should consider that your focus would largely be on JV, JDAs and outright land deals rather than DM?
Absolutely. I think because if you see our healthy free cash flow generation, you see a strong balance sheet. And this quarter also we have reduced our debt by 67 crore. We are 0.23x. So as a team now we have taken a target and we feel more comfortable in the JV, JD structured outright transactions.
Sure. Got it. And one more question is on the demand trends that we are seeing right now. So firstly, I think across the markets we are seeing demand for larger homes picking up very well versus earlier demand of 1 to 2 BHKs. Now, on that backdrop, I think what are your plans? Because especially with Universe, we were largely doing some affordable housing kind of a thing, houses below 50 lakhs. So including that, are there any redesign plans that we are looking to cater to the demand that is there right now on market? Because this is not just a one market phenomena. I think across markets like Mumbai, Bangalore, Pune, we are seeing the demand for larger homes being more than the smaller homes. So what's your take on that?
So Pritesh, this is important observation. So in fact, post-COVID, what I mentioned earlier, we are going back on a drawing board for this reason. So just to tell you, whatever the 2 launches that we are proposing in Life Republic in the coming month, in next 30 days, is of the higher ticket value. Over there, the room sizes are bigger. Over there, we have introduced the balcony concept again. So, and it is quite visible in our presentation as well. So contribution from our premium inventory is at all-time high if you compare to last 3-4 odd years. So yes, certainly we are brainstorming on that, and but at the same time, for a Life Republic specifically, we should have a right balance of all inventory, because otherwise we have to take care of cannibalization and other things as well. Because since we take a higher target, so we try to have, so basically we try to have a supermarket of products over there, which will complement each other.
Yeah. Got it. Thanks. So that's where my two questions for now. I have few more. I'll join back the queue. and all the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prithvi Raj from Unifi Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, I just have a couple of questions. So the first, you mentioned a point that there has been an increase in the realization. So could you throw some light on, what is the like-to-like increase in the realization for various projects, and which are the geographies where we are seeing this increase in the realization?
Okay. So if you refer to the last presentation and this presentation, on year-on-year basis, we have there is a significant increase in Life Republic portfolio. The last year average was around close to sub 5,000, 4,900 something, and this year we are I mean specifically for this quarter we are achieving a 5,200. So there is a price rise of close to 300 rupees a square feet in Life Republic, which is our biggest portfolio. So that is a very positive sign. Apart from that, like for our premium inventory at Stargate, Centria, and Mumbai projects, we have increased our prices by 2 to 4%.
So, this is something unique, right? I guess for last many years, this sector has never seen increase in realization. So do we expect this trend to continue, even going forward? And, what do you feel at the ground level?
So yes, basically it all depends on the, the strategy implied by the peers. So at the end of the day, we have to strike the right balance between volume and value. So, but yes, to answer your question, yes, there is a positivity in the market, and certainly because of the efficient new launches with the good product mix and the good design, that we are bullish to have a positive price rise in our new launches.
And any further update on the Planet Smart City JV?
That's the JV that we are still, we're sharing deals with them. A lot of deals have been shared to and fro. And so far, I think the focus was on, the launch of the R10 Phase 2. And I think in the coming quarters, hopefully, we'll be able to announce something. But right now, we are just evaluating deals amongst us.
Okay. And one final question. So, H1, you have done a sales of 1.1 million square feet. So, how do you think, what can be the full year number for this year, and, what is the guidance for next year?
So we'll certainly surpass our guidance given earlier. So of 2.5 million square feet, and this will be the best ever year for us in terms of the value.
So just to add, Prithviraj, I think historically we see H2 is better than H1. So we are gunning for a good H2, and we are hoping to surpass the 2.5 million square feet guidance given.
And given that 6 million square feet new launches in the next few quarters, so can we expect a sales of 3.5 to 4 million square feet in next year?
No, I don't think so. So it will all depend on the launches, I think which quarter they are coming in. And I think don't want to give a forward guidance, but I think next year would, of course, with the amount of launches we are having and the new BD that's coming in, you would see that next year would be better than our guidance of of 2.5 million square feet this year.
Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manoj Dua from Geometric. Please go ahead.
Hi. Can you give some color on the business development deal done in this quarter? Any business development deal in this quarter, segment-wise, Pune or Mumbai?
So as I mentioned earlier, I mean, there are discussions going on some very serious deals at advanced stage of discussion, but maybe at this moment of time I cannot disclose those details.
Okay. Have we made some target on the amount we are going to invest in these kind of deals in 1 or 1.5 years? Like we will spend this much amount of money.
Sorry, can you please come again?
Have we put some amount to the investments in these kind of deals in 1 or 2 years? Because that much money we can spend on these kind of internal targets. Okay, let's put 300, 400 CR for these kind of deals? Somewhere some targets are there in this business development deals. Not in terms of million square feet, in terms of amount of investment.
So basically, it all depends on what deal structuring. Some can be asset-light deals, some can be, the investment-heavy deals. So maybe it's difficult to comment on that number. But certainly in terms of volume, so bare minimum we want to replenish whatever is we are selling every year, so that will add back to our inventory. But certainly for next 3 to 4 quarters, you will be seeing a very good, BD deal signing at our end.
Okay. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sangeeta Purushottam from Cogito. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Andre, Sangeeta's partner. First of all, congratulations for an absolutely terrific set of numbers. After the India-New Zealand match, at least there is something to cheer about. Now, this was a follow-up question on your realization question asked by another investor. How do you see the pricing actually increase, let's say, over the next 12 months? And how do you see that alongside your costs? Because across industries, we are hearing about commodity inflation. And therefore, what is the impact on your profitability that you foresee for the next 12 months? I also wanted to reconcile the number that you said somewhere that you had a realization of 6,300 rupees per square foot. And in the 6.2 million square feet that you're talking about a potential 8 to 8,500 rupees per square foot, which really is something like a 30% increase. So if you can just reconcile these numbers for me, some of this could also be obviously because of a mix change and a higher proportion of sales coming from places like Bombay. But in terms of absolute price increase, how do you see that, and how do you see that along with the cost increase and for the margin, the effect on the margin?
So there are 3 parts of the question. So let me answer the first one regarding the cost from the input side. So yes, there is a cost rise close to around 6 to 8% for a new project. And since we have already launched inventory at various stages of the project development, considering that there can be impact of maybe a 1% to 2%, or maybe for a couple of projects at 4-5%, which are recently launched.
Right.
To cover up this, we are increasing our prices. What I mentioned earlier, we are increasing our prices as compared to the earlier phases launch across our inventory.
Right.
On top of that, for the next 12 months, since it won't be an issue only for us, this price rise, the uptake in commodity cycle. So everybody is facing the hit. All peers are facing the hit. So it all depends how the market, take this. So either there are only 2 options: either to absorb that, reset the margins, or to improve on the pricing. So what I mentioned earlier, we have to strike a right balance between the APR's value as well as volume. But having said that, we are confident that we will be increasing our prices marginally across portfolio in coming quarters.
So how do you difference between 8,500 rupees per square foot, which is the future value of an inventory, and your 6,000 rupees, which is the 6,300 that you're getting right now? If you're going to increase price only marginally, are you going to get all that change only because of mix change, or what is going to happen?
So majority of that is because of the contribution from Mumbai, as well as our contribution from a premium inventory of Pune, like what I mentioned about a Baner, regarding a Giga, which are over there, the sale rates are in the range of 8,000 to 10,000 rupees a square feet.
Right.
So the most of the part is in regards to that. And certainly, as I mentioned, because of the maybe a marginal price rise, we'll see the improvement in our average realization in coming quarters.
Yeah, just to add to Rahul's point, I think in Mumbai, the contribution, last year was 180 crore. And, so far in H1 FY22, we have achieved 180 crore. So that's why you're seeing that uptick in price realization. And going forward, as Mumbai will contribute more, it will keep moving up.
So would it be fair to assume that your margins going forward will be roughly around the same as they are today?
Yes, it will be same as on date. I mean, the future guidance will be continue to have at least same margins in the near future.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Agarwal from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So my question is basically on the business development portfolio and specifically to Mumbai. Now, you mentioned 10 million square feet of projects that you are looking to add. Could you tell me how much is Mumbai out of that? Or if you could tell us how much in the next 6 to 12 months you're expecting to add in Mumbai? The second part is also how has been the inflow, especially post the second wave? Has the inflow kind of gone up, gone down? If you could mention something around that on business development. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Mohit. So, out of this 10 million square feet, we are targeting to sign 3-4 deals in Mumbai, so which will contribute around 1.5 million square feet. And what was your second question? Sorry,
post the second wave, has the inflow of these projects kind of are more lenders coming to you or more society development deals coming to you?
Yes, certainly. So basically, as we have a first mover advantage specifically for Mumbai in redevelopment domain, we have a strong license and legal team over there. So that license directly with the society people, unlike the peers. So they have some kind of intermediary setup. So we will be carrying that advantage. That is our unique proposition for the Mumbai. On top of that, we have delivered a couple of projects in Mumbai, as well as the visibilities. I mean, to answer your question, yes, certainly many society are approaching us with a better, terms. And that's the reason we are pretty confident that we'll be signing few deals in Mumbai.
Okay. Is it possible to share any details in general about how have the terms been better? If you could just quantify a bit for us.
Okay. So just to give you some sense, because in society domain the most important is the trust. So since we have whatever society that we have signed in Mumbai, so work is going on in every society at different level. So now the other society have that kind of confidence that these are the developers who are going to deliver on the commitments. So because of that, our upfront investment is getting reduced. So the earlier people used to take the rentals of all 2 years, 3 years upfront. Now they are open to take that rental of say 3 months or maybe at max 6 months at the start. So even the hardship compensation is getting postponed to the during the operating cycle of the project. So because of this, and obviously yes, the improvement in their area. So that is the main factor that we always look at.
Okay. And the second part to this is the overall competitive intensity in the business development market of Mumbai increasing? Many of your peers, larger peers, are getting aggressive on business development in Mumbai. So how have you seen in the last 1 year the competitive intensity? Is it tougher to get projects now? Is there more competition?
Certainly, because of the positivity in the market, everybody is now talking about the new deals, and so is the case with us. So, whatever we have observed in the past during the legacy of the company, when there is the good competition, it has always benefited the company because of our strong legacy of delivery and the quality product. So I don't think it is something negative or a serious concern for us. In fact, it is a positive thing for us. And we are getting a good deal pipelines with a better terms, what I mentioned. So that is not only in a redevelopment domain as well as in some kind of JV/JD deals we are evaluating.
Okay, sure. That's very helpful. Thanks a lot and all the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Balakrishna from iThought PMS. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Sir, couple of questions. So in the pipeline, the slide that you mentioned that you have about 6.5 million square feet of launch pipeline, 6.2 million square feet. So can you say how much of this would be in FY22? You gave some sort of you named a few projects in Pune and also in Mumbai, but just at an aggregate level, what would be the launch in FY22 and what would spill over to FY23?
So out of this, most of the inventory will get launched in FY22, as I mentioned earlier. So if you want the details, I can share that. Baner project for sure will get launched in Q4 of this year. Then Wagholi Equa is getting launched in next month itself. Couple of projects at Life Republic is again getting launched in next month. Giga, so Giga is being our very prime inventory, prime location. So we are going over there in a phase-wise manner. So first hour of Giga is getting launched and maybe end of this quarter or early next quarter. Regarding the Mumbai, Sukh Niwas will get certainly launched in this quarter, and Golden Pebble maybe at the fag end of the Q4 or maybe at the beginning of the next financial year. So to answer your question, most of the inventory is getting launched in this year itself. So there can be some kind of maybe a last month of March or the early of the Q1.
Got it. So you can say about from within the 6 million square feet over the next 4 to 6 quarters, you will launch all of them. Will that be a fair assumption?
6 quarters, we are confident out of this, all projects will get launched in next 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months. Got it. Understood.
Maybe one project regarding a boat club, because of the unified DCR, there is a lot of unlocked potential that we are looking at. So it is a very prime location property. So deliberation is going on that. So barring that, everything will get launched in next 2 to 3 quarters.
Okay. And sir, in the answer to earlier participant's question around BD deals, you mentioned that you would probably look to at least add that much of land deals to sort of replace what you sell in a given year. So I think, as you mentioned, this year will probably be upwards of 2.5 million square feet. So is it fair to say that if not in FY22, given there could be things around deal closure, etc., and you are in agreement, at least that, and given the launch pipeline that you have for the next 6 to 9 months, can we see business deals worth at least 4-5 million square feet in the next, let's say, 3 to 4 quarters? Is that something which you think, given whatever your agreements are happening, do you think that's feasible? I'm not asking whether you will do it or not. I'm just asking whether, from a pipeline point of view, whether you have at least that much of visibility, and if everything goes well, you will be at least looking at that number.
Yes, certainly. See, as I mentioned earlier, we are very positive. Many deals are in a advanced leg of discussion, and but at the same time, BD is not a event; it is a process. So we have a very strong assessment process of new business development activities. Maybe it's conservative, but it always benefited us in the past. So considering that, I cannot give you any kind of commitment on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but certainly for the next 4 to 6 quarters, there will be significant additions in our portfolio through business development activity. So, and at the same time, we are not just adding the volume. We are introducing ourselves into new micro markets in the Pune and Mumbai region. So that will help us in with the additional value.
Right. And so just one more question on Mumbai. So actually just 2 sub-questions on Mumbai. In society redevelopment, are you seeing some of the other players' commentary have also alluded to this part in terms of society redevelopment? So have you seen any competition creeping in, or do you think that the market is so big that there is space for everybody? So that was one. And second question on Bombay and Mumbai itself, are we also looking at non-society redevelopment, like something like completely fresh project, non-society development in the MMR region? Anything?
Yes. So for us, I mean, rightly mentioned by you, there is a very good space for everyone. And as I mentioned, so for most important in any society redevelopment, because it is not a one person who is taking a call. It is a combination of people who are taking a call. So a trust plays a significant important role. And I believe we are ahead of curve over there. So we'll be closing a good terms deal in that space. Regarding the non.
To add to that, I think Rohit, it's a big space. So we see there are more than 15,000 societies coming up for redevelopment. So I think it's a big space, and there are only few branded developers who can really encash on this opportunity. I think on the second question.
And regarding the second question, so I mentioned that earlier that we are not only looking at redevelopment deals in Mumbai. At the same time, we are open for all other kinds of deal structures, and we are evaluating couple of deals rather, on an outright and joint development space as well. But we are very selective on choosing the micro markets in Mumbai because MMR is a very big region. So we don't want to have the project spread across MMR to begin with.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for answering this question, and I look forward to some very positive announcements from you over the next few quarters. Thank you very much, and all the best, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants to please limit your question to 2 per participants. You may come back in the question queue if you have a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Deepak Podar from Sapphire Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. So just wanted to understand, like, given the demand scenario and even in the kind of projects we are launching, over next 3 years, a 5,500 kind of a revenue level, is that one can envisage over maybe next 3 years?
So, Pawan, would you like to answer on this?
So basically, from a P&L perspective, we follow completed contract method.
Yeah.
So we have a 9 million square feet of under development work which is going on. So this will get delivered over the next 3 years, which will add to a top line of close to 5,000 crores.
Yeah. So 9 million is about close to about. And what is the margin level we are looking at?
So I think margins are expected to remain consistent. The EBITDA is going to be in the range of somewhere around 20 to 25%.
EBITDA 20-25 and PAT maybe what 10-15% is what you had guided earlier.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. And the heaviness of this revenue will be skewed towards FY24. Will that be a right assessment?
So I would say it would be evenly spread between FY22, 23, and 24.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Himanshu Upadhyay from PGI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, and congrats on good set of results. I had a question on this Goregaon project Verb, okay, which was launched, I think, in Q1 FY22, where we see the sales momentum is pretty slow. Even when in the Goregaon market, the market is doing pretty well, and again the cash what we have got is very less, and again the realization are much lower than Evara, which is in Borivali. So what is the reason for this project to be slow at even at the launch stage, which is now 2 quarters? We have not seen much happening, and it is one of the largest project in Bombay, so 0.23 million square feet of sales. This project can give.
I think, Himanshu, I think Verb, we have got a good traction, but however, they have not been converted into sales yet because we are just in the process of purchasing TDR, for our C tower, D tower. So I think we have already paid our first tranche of 10% for the TDR purchase, and hopefully the TDR will be loaded within 20-25 days, and this quarter you will see all those sales flow into registrations ultimately. At the moment, many EOIs have been picked up, many people's interests have been taken, but because we have not loaded our TDR, we couldn't log into our sales. So you'll see you'll see all those numbers, customers are waiting since 3-4 months. You'll see all those sales coming into this quarter, in fact, by this month.
Okay. So, because even when we look at the same 69 crores of sales value, the collections is only 5 crores, okay? Which is generally we have 20% at that point of collections, na? Means when we do a
so
sale.
it depends on what stage of project it is. So we have just started with the construction over there. And even what Yash mentioned, the registration is happening. So we are pushing the registration. So post registration, you will see the good momentum in terms of collection as well. At the end of the day, it has to be backed up by the good the construction progress, and we are confident on that.
So just right, there is good sales, but there is some backlog, and just because of our TDR, I think it's taken a bit of time, but it would come in by next month. It would flow in, and the collections as per the footing, I think around over 20% would come after registration.
And one thing on Jai Vijay also means every quarter we see small sales, okay? Yeah, how much is still pending in that thing? And I think it is now nearly 2 years when the project has been complete, but it is taking more time for us to do sales, okay? So what is the point there, or why it is still so slow moving?
So around 10,000 to 12,000 inventories left over there. So those are the non-premium units, and because of certain, the viewing, the non-premium view. So there is a slow traction over there. But if you see our October number, it's very good. So we believe that in next couple of months we'll be through with the inventory at Jai Vijay.
And in Bombay market, where we want to focus on, see what we are trying to get means, will it be a super premium type of projects what we want to get, or it would be a mid-income type of place where we are focusing in this redevelopment? It's particularly on the western line where we have focused on. So can you throw some light on what type of...
So as I mentioned earlier, we are very selective about choosing the micro markets, particularly for Mumbai, since it is a new market for us. So over there, we want to have a BD deals in the range of where the APR realization is in the range of 15,000 to 17,000 per square feet on saleable basis, and the ticket size we would like to continue in between 1.5 crore to 3 crore, or the very few inventory of 4 crore.
Okay, and one small last thing. Welcome, Rahul. But see, one issue we had in this company that we have seen CEOs who have left in 3-4 years, and very young people have been the CEOs in this Kolte Patil over last 10 years. Okay, is there anything which we need to focus on that we get more people who stick with the company at the CEOs level? I know many of them were with the company for pretty long period of time, but at the CEO level we have seen 2 exits, and people are young only, okay? It is not something that they are retiring or anything of that sort. So any thoughts on that and any focus on that?
No, I think changes there inevitably in any company, but Rahul's been here with us for 10 years, and he's been very instrumental in revamping Life Republic and revamping the overall setting up the Mumbai division. So I think even in the past, I think the CEOs have performed, and I think also with Rahul now we have a great growth plan. And apart from that, I think the market is also in an up cycle, and the entire team is charged up to achieve our targets for the next 3 years.
Okay, thank you from my side.
At the same time, I would like to add, so we are strengthening our strategy team, as well as we are strengthening our, to ride on the next level of growth. So we are hiring the project directors. So this will be the future leaders for the company.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Faisal Hawa from HG Hawa & Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, 2 questions from my end. Is there any technology that we have adopted in designing or even for customer centric approach with AR and VR becoming really prevalent with Facebook really adopting it? it would be, we could actually, showcase our products to the entire world. That's one question. Second is that there is a fair amount of increases in IP series, and Pune is coming up as not only coming, it should be higher also. So how do we feel that this will really pan out in actually reducing our inventory? And do you feel that once the inventory reduces further, there could be a short squeeze on supply, and that could cause prices to almost increase by 20%, because at one time we may have very little supply in the market. And third is, sir, why are we not concentrating more on the Bangalore market? Because that is.
Sorry, your voice is a bit muffled. So your first question is on technology, second on supply side, and third would be on?
Third would be on the Bangalore market. Is there any reason that we are not focusing more on that? Because it's almost similar characteristics like how Pune has.
So, in regards to technology, certainly we are taking the advantage. Even during the COVID lockdown period, because of the technology, we could sell the good amount of inventory. And yes, we are bullish to take the benefit out of this technology. It is quite visible through our marketing spend as well. So earlier the primary spend in marketing was the print and hoarding media. So now we are focusing on the digital tools in order to optimize the cost over there.
And to answer to your Bangalore question, I think yeah, you're right. I think in Bangalore we now we have Raga front development that we call Raga Phase 3 that's going to come up, and we are looking to sign 2-3 more deals in Bangalore, and for that also we have gotten a new regional head in Bangalore, and we are hoping that we can announce something in the next by Q3 or Q4, by mostly Q4 of this year for Bangalore market.
Thank you. We take the last question from the line of Pritesh Sheth from Motilal Oswal AMC. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for the follow-up opportunity. I think it's very important to mention about your dividend distribution policy. I think first time we are seeing someone coming from the real estate space coming with a dedicated distribution policy. So can you elaborate something on that? I mean, probably in the last couple of quarters we are seeing some of the surplus cash flows getting used to deleverage the balance sheet, but from here on we might not see that, and we might see some return to equity shareholders as well. So just if you can elaborate on your distribution policy.
So Pritesh, this is again an important question. The point is, as I mentioned earlier, we are really bullish on the market sentiments, and we want to close multiple deals in the coming quarters. So our guidance from the board is to preserve this capital for the growth, and that's the reason we are not going ahead with the dividend at this moment.
Sure. So probably for next couple of years also our focus would be purely on business development, and we might not see any dividends getting distributed, right?
No, see, this is a short-term guidance, because see, if you see our debt to equity ratio is also at almost at all-time low. So we have a possibility of and from board we have a guidance to replenish at till 0.5 debt to equity ratio. So we have a growth to raise. We have a possibility of raising a further capital through debt route. And apart from that, there is a very strong operating cash flows in the company. So, but having said that, we are pretty conservative at least for next 3 to 4 quarters of for distribution of.
So it would be not for the next years. I think again maybe the board would decide. Maybe after 2 quarters we would again discuss it at the board, and we would I think accordingly as per our discussions we would let you all know.
Sure. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management for closing comments. Over to you all.
Thank you once again for your interest and support. We'll continue to stay engaged. Please be in touch with our investor relations team for any further details or discussion. Look forward to interacting with you next quarter and wish you all and your near ones a very happy Diwali on behalf of entire Kolte Patil family. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Kolte Patil Developers, we conclude today's conference. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect your lines.